I've spoken with Lions fans at work who have said, I don't want Monty to come back. I like our offense better with Gibbs. I want Gibbs to get those touches, and I don't want it to be 50-50 when he comes back.
I think David Montgomery coming back is the worst thing ever. I don't like how you guys limit Gibbs with Montgomery on the field. That's all I'm going to say. I really think Montgomery's a guy that should not be on this team.
I think that is one of the craziest takes I've ever heard from you and from the fans. Like, what are you saying, bro? Another player that we got to give a shout out to, Mr. Sonic himself, Jahmyr Gibbs. 4 touchdowns on the day. Breaks the franchise record set by Jamal Williams a couple years ago with 20 touchdowns on the year. Tied for the league lead in rushing touchdowns at 16 with Derrick Henry and James Cook. The kid's just a stud, bro. And, man, I love that everyone who talked trash on him when we drafted him and talked about, oh, this is a luxury pick and this is a pick you guys make when you're good, yada, 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 yada. Yeah, how's it look now? You know, how's it look now? Proved everybody wrong. Proved Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes right. Shout out to that, man.
I'm going to ask the question. Is Jahmyr Gibbs the best running back in the NFL?
No, but he's top. He's top. He's one of those. Like, he's one of those guys. I don't know if he's the best. I still have to give it to Saquon. I'd have to, just out of respect, bro. But
I would like to toot my own horn again. I literally said David Montgomery going down is a blessing. You guys literally held Jahmyr Gibbs back all season. He could have ended with 30 touchdowns. I think David Montgomery coming back is the worst thing ever. I don't like how you guys limit Gibbs with Montgomery on the field. That's all I'm going to say. I really think Montgomery's a guy that should not be on this team. But that's all I'm going to say.
So, since that news has dropped that Monty's coming back for the divisional round, I've spoken with Lions fans at work who have said, I don't want Monty to come back.
Correct.
I like our offense better with Gibbs. I want
Correct.
Gibbs to get those touches, and I don't want it to be 50-50 when he comes back. My viewpoint on it is Monty's too good of a running back to not give those touches, and it also keeps Gibbs fresh so he's even more effective when he shows up. Not that he can't handle the full workload. I know he can. But I wouldn't have it just to kind of, extend an olive branch here. I wouldn't have it 50-50 with Monty and Gibbs. If it were up to me, I'm doing like 65-35 in Gibbs' favor. I could live with that.
Monty was needed if you guys don't have home field advantage. You guys are playing indoors. Monty, go ahead. Go sit on the bench. We don't need you indoors.
I don't think it matters, bro.
I do.
Bro, I think that is one of the craziest takes I've ever heard from
That's
from you and from the fans. Like, what are you saying,
That's
bro?
fine.
Like, we are blessed to have 2 running backs who can tote as many carries as you need. That doesn't mean that they need to get them. Do I agree that Jahmyr Gibbs needs more carries? Yes. I was an advocate of that all season long. Okay. I believe Jahmyr Gibbs is the best of the duo. That does not mean that we just don't give the ball to David Montgomery and toss him to the curb and let him go somewhere else. Why?
So
prior to his injury, he had 950 yards. Like, we were going to have 2,000-yard rushing, not just scrimmage yards. By the way, Jahmyr Gibbs, 1,800 scrimmage yards on the season, boss. But so you could have had his 1,800. So if Jahmyr Gibbs instead of David Montgomery doesn't go down, Jahmyr Gibbs gets 1,600 scrimmage yards instead of 1,800, and then David Montgomery gets 1,200 scrimmage yards. Like, I just don't understand the point of let's not just go ahead and get rid of Montgomery. No, you want to give more carries to Jahmyr Gibbs, fine. But you don't just let a player like that walk out the door, bro. It doesn't make any sense.
So you want a guy in Montgomery, if Ryan's saying he wants it 65, 35 or 70-30, you want a guy that's getting 30% of the carries to be paid like that?
What's he paid like? He's not paid anything crazy.
No, he's paid a lot if he's a 30% running back.
I mean, he's more than that, and he's got a role on this team. I mean, I think you guys, it's a lot of recency bias right now because Jahmyr Gibbs is the flashy player, and he just scored 4 touchdowns. I think a lot of fans and a lot of people are forgetting just how important and just how good David Montgomery has been since stepping in Detroit 2 years ago. Like, you guys are crazy, bro.
It's just, I just think it's it's not a coincidence why Gibbs has had his best games without Montgomery.
Well, of course, volume
Yeah.
matters, right? Like
Yeah,
that's something
he
we've been
needs-
talking about all the time, but we don't need him to do that.
Gibbs,
We can get the same production from two guys.
Listen, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of a 2 running back system. But I just think from watching the games, bro, this year, there was a lot of times when Gibbs off the field when he shouldn't be. There was a lot of games where Gibbs had like less than 20 carries. That's not okay. He's too good of a player, and I didn't think he was going to be this good. I'll be the first to say it. And I still don't think, I think durability would still be a thing with him if he played a full season. But until I'm proven right on that, I can't say that we know that yet. I don't, we'll see.
I don't know how you can say you're a fan of the 2 running back system in one breath and then try to take the second running back out of the system with the other.
Because your second running back shouldn't be like, bro, I think they take away too many carries from Gibbs, and they don't treat Montgomery like a 1A running back, not a second running back.
Right. So what would be your split then?
I wouldn't split.
So you'd have Monty on the bench.
I would have Montgomery short yardage, 3rd and 2s, 4th and 1s. That's it.
No, that's crazy.
That's
That's insanity.
That's fine.
Let's not forget that Monty's also had explosive plays where he's bouncing off a tackle and then
He
running
sure
for
has.
50 to 60 more yards.
He
Let's
sure
not
has.
forget that he was, I'm not going to say top 5. Calm down, Ryan. He was a top 10 back in the
Calm
NFL.
down.
Yeah, I know. He was a top 10 back in the NFL before his injury. That's not arguable. Based on touchdowns, based on average, based on the eye test, whatever you want. So you don't limit a top 10 running back just because you have a top 2 running back, in front of him completely like that. You can't do that. You can lessen and give Gibbs more opportunities, which I'm also a fan of that idea because I think Gibbs can take any carry to the house. I think he's at that level. But you can't just take Montgomery out of the equation and make him the next A.J. Dillon. I refuse. I won't do it.
Gibbs is Jamal Charles without the Tourette's. That's all it is.
What did you just say?
Yo, that's a
I'm
crazy statement.
Just being
bro.
honest, bro.
That's crazy. Listen, regardless, I just don't know how you can sit up here and say, not just you, like other people, like, yeah, let Montgomery go. That's crazy to me. That is crazy to me. And that shows how recency bias affects people in their decisions.
It does.
Like that's wild, bro. That's a wild take.
I'll say, because I remember what that felt like when Monty went down. I was crushed. A lot of Lions fans were crushed. Like, it wasn't just me. Like, that was terrible news because we thought he was out for the rest of the year, and we lost our 1-2 punch. It's Sonic and Knuckles. It's not just Sonic.
Listen, Montgomery has a 2-year deal right now. He will not be on the Lions after next year.
After his deal is up,
Correct.
I think that largely depends on what happens moving forward.
That's fine.
If he has some sort of injury, sure. But I don't
But
think...
I also think too, in the NFC Championship game, if Montgomery's not playing, you guys don't go away from Gibbs or the running game.
You talking about last year?
Correct.
I mean, dude, last year was just a weird game, second half, right? There's just so many different things that you can point out, but I just to kind of wrap up this discussion, I just know how important David Montgomery is to this team. Like, I watch them obviously every single week. I don't see a situation where you just say, David, thank you, but no thank you. We're giving Jameer 30 carries a game. Because Montgomery is so effective, man. He really is. And he means so much to this team. And especially on the short yardage, gotta have it runs. Like, against the Packers, Moran, who was it that took that carry to ice the game? It wasn't Gibbs. It was Monty. When you need those carries, when you need those yards, like, bro.
Jared
And
Goff,
I'm not saying
the play should have been called dead, but
imagine it should have been called dead, bro.
Oh,
we're not doing
my
that. We're
God.
not doing that.
Yeah, I know.
But-
He's being a cheeky asshole. Stop that.
Stop. But listen, I'm just saying, I think that a lot of people like to have that opinion. That's crazy.